I know you're out there. I know you're listening. What the hell is going on in Dallas? Why am I hearing rumors that we want Colin Kaepernick or Cam Newton to come to your team? What have you come to that you're all of a sudden you're like, you know what would be a great idea? Let's go get this quarterback who hasn't been in the league for, I don't know, was it 5-6 years now, and clearly doesn't want to be in the league. And when he left the league, he was terrible. Let's go get this guy to be our quarterback. Let's go get Cam Newton, who can't lift his arm up high enough to throw past 5 yards. This is what you think of Cooper Rush? This is what you think of your backup quarterback situation? Is that you want to go get a guy like Colin Kaepernick and Cam Newton? Like, I can't even make this stuff up. Like, I can't even be mad. It just makes me laugh. It cracks me up because Dallas fans are so much like, oh, we still got a shot. You didn't even have a shot with Dak Prescott. You were going to find a way to blow it, even with Dak Prescott, because that's what the Dallas Cowboys do. So you can go get Cam Newton. You can go get Colin Kaepernick. Hell, at that point, you might as well just sign myself or my boy Buck over here to play quarterback for you, because we can throw just as many interceptions as those guys. We can read a field just as bad as those guys can. And you know what? We might actually surprise you. And we might actually be worth the money you're about to pay us. Get the hell out of here with Colin Kaepernick and Cam Newton. Give me Cooper Rush all day long. Buck, hit the music.
Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page, and of course, check out the blog section as well. Takeaway 22 merch is still live over there. And Stay Tomorrow Need You merch is there as well. Suicide Prevention Month is active and with us, and all proceeds from those 2 shirts will go to nonprofit organizations listed in the description below. But before we give you the rundown of today's show, I have to welcome my right-hand man, the peanut butter to my ladies, the eggs to my ketchup, Mr. Beastie Combs. What's up, Beastie?
What is going on, Michael Buckheiser? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Man, it is good to be here. It's about to be another week of football. Week 1 was amazing. Week 2 is just about to be as good. I went to Notre Dame game last Saturday, Buck.
How was it?
It was amazing until the game started. and then Marshall, yes, I said Marshall, beat Notre Dame. That wasn't as fun, but everything else was great. But when you said peanut butter to my ladies, it reminded me of a conversation. One of the guys we're traveling with said, he's like, hey, if the wife decides to leave, I'm telling her, have fun. Take the kids. Leave the dog. Leave the peanut butter.
Leave the dog. Leave the peanut butter.
I was like, oh, man, that reminds me. Maybe that's what Buck does with his peanut butter to his ladies.
I actually have a cat that's sitting right here. McLovin's sitting right here. And I may or may not have some honey floating around here somewhere. McLovin's loves some honey. So let me ask you this question, Combs. Also, during that little skid bit here, I said ketchup to my eggs. Are you putting a ketchup on an eggs type of person? Really?
Yes. All over my eggs. Scrambled eggs, omelets. Yeah. Yep. Everything except for hard-boiled eggs.
What made you start that? Did you see your dad do it or something?
It's been something since I was a kid. Yeah, I think my mom and dad both do it. And so I did. My dad used to always make these scrambled eggs, but he would mince up some potato and he would fry them up and then mix that in with the eggs.
Okay.
And then he put some ketchup over it. Oh man, those were the best Sunday mornings.
So that sounds like hash brown and eggs, kind of like in a pot pie type thing. I mean, with like the crust.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I could see that, but like my dad, like over easy eggs, ketchup, boom, all over it.
Yeah.
Like,
Ketchup. I mean, some people do hot sauce. I can't. I'm not a hot type of guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I went and got lunch today, and I got a beef sandwich, and I asked for sweet peppers on the beef sandwich, and they put hot peppers on there, and I can't do hot, so I scraped all the hot peppers off, and I went to take a bite, but all like the jalapeno juice and everything was in there. I about burned my mouth off after one bite. I was so angry. Threw it back in the bag, threw it in the trash. You gotta be kidding me. You're lucky I got cheese fries, Portillo's.
So I wonder if that's like a Great Lakes thing, because my dad is from the Great Lakes. He's from Flint, Michigan. Actually, Lapeer, Michigan is where he's from, and you're obviously from Chicago. So like, I wonder if that ketchup on eggs is kind of like a Great Lakes thing.
I think it's a taste thing, right? Because like my kids will put ketchup on everything. They're from the East Coast. They like ketchup on their eggs, probably because I introduced them to that. But they'll put ketchup in their mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
They'll put ketchup on their ketchup. I mean, they just love ketchup.
Yeah. I put ketchup on everything because when Cindy cooks, it's very blah. So you gotta spice it up a little bit.
Whoa.
Oh.
You might want to edit that, man. Look,
So,
I ain't married yet, but I'm divorced a couple times, and I know I know what that part's like.
Well, I am just steady here calling people out, Combs, and that's exactly what Aaron Rodgers has done to his wide receivers. Aaron Rodgers has officially called out his wide receivers and says he will not change the way he plays to accommodate them. Combsy, is this a bad sign moving forward for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers?
Yes, but it's also a sign that Buck? Beastie's been right this entire damn time about Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Look, I've been saying it, and I know you just got off the mic with Tori, with the fantasy show and all that stuff. Great stuff on there, and Tori's a big Packer fan, but he's going to be upset this season watching his boys play, because what I listened to in Aaron Rodgers in that interview where he says, I'm not going to change the way I play while they learn how to play. These are NFL wide receivers. They are not learning how to play the game of football. These are guys that have been in the league for a while. These are not rookies. You don't have rookies. You don't have rookie wide receivers on your core. What you have are wide receivers that nobody else wanted is what you have, and that's what you're stuck with. Your top wide receiver is a guy in Alan Lazard who's been in your organization. He's been there. And they're just not talented. And what you have is a quarterback who is not a good enough leader to make them better. We've had this argument before, and people have said it, and I've argued with them. It angers me to no extent when people say, well, Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady. He just doesn't have the championships. That is bullshit. Tom Brady would make this wide receiving core a championship receiving core. Tom Brady would make this receiving core a Pro Bowl receiving core. Aaron Rodgers does not have that capability. Aaron Rodgers does not have that leadership. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to do it. And he said that in the damn interview. I am not going to change the way I play while these guys learn. Okay, cool. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep sucking? Because that's what's going to happen. And by week 3 or 4, you're going to be laid out on the field. Because you don't have any pass protection. You don't trust your wide receivers. And therefore, your run game is going to get stuffed. And it sucks for us fantasy owners who took Aaron Jones in a lot of fantasy drafts. That's for sure. Me being one of them. But it's a bad thing for the Green Bay Packers. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for Aaron Rodgers. But I've been saying it the entire time, Buck. I've been saying it the entire time.
Yeah, so I like the word that you used there a little while ago, and you used the word leader. And Aaron Rodgers clearly is not a leader of this team right now. Now, if we look on, obviously hindsight's 2020, but if we look back on it a couple years ago, has he ever been a leader on that team, Combs? Has it always been Devontae Adams? Has it always been a Randall Cobb? Has it always been a Jordy Nelson? Just because, yes, Aaron Rodgers does have that C on his chest, but Aaron Rodgers has this ego, Combs, where he is just better than everybody else. He has divorced his family. He has alienated himself from his family because of XYZ. I don't know the whole story by any means, but he has done it. And anybody that has done that to their family, to their own mom, something is obviously not quite clicking in this guy's head. And now he's on mushrooms and LSD and acid and whatever else he is on, right? And it's just making him look like a fool. But on the flip side of that coin, when he said he is not going to change the way he is playing the game so the receivers can catch up, I mean, I'm very loosely quoting that. This is the same Aaron Rodgers, Combs, that you said is arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. Why should the GOAT or the GOAT Jr. or whatever you want to call him have to change the way he plays because the rookie receiver Christian Watson or second-year receiver Amari Rodgers is struggling adjusting to the speed of the game? I don't think he was calling out Alan Lazard, Sammy Watkins, or Randall Cobb. He was calling out those first-year players that are a little bit behind the curve.
Right, but when you're a quarterback who just got paid $50 million a year,
mm-hmm.
which means that they had to get rid of your number one target, Devontae Adams, and you got a guy like Christian Watson, who on his first attempt in the NFL drops a pass over his shoulders that hits his hands and falls to the ground that could have been a touchdown.
Should have been a touchdown. And
you alienate him until the fourth quarter and don't even look his way again. What are you doing to that kid's confidence? What are you doing to help that kid improve? You want him to get better, you have to help him get better. You want him to learn, you have to help him learn. You are the leader of this team. You are the leader of this offense, and you are being paid as the highest paid quarterback in the NFL this season.
Right.
And next season. You are getting paid more than Tom Brady, who has 6 more Super Bowl rings than you do, who has 9 more Super Bowl appearances than you do. And you are getting paid for that guy. That guy's been in the NFC for 2 years. He has just as many NFC championships as you do.
So let's not go off on that tangent quite yet. But also in that interview or in that quote, Combs, he said he is not going to change the way he plays, but that never said he was not going to help those young receivers. Do you think we're not looking too far into it, saying, hey, he is going to tell these receivers how he wants the game to be played? Because we've seen receivers, second, third round picks that have become great receivers. Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams comes to mind right there off the bat. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a big contributing factor to those guys' success in the NFL, right?
If not changing your game to while these kids learn, that's not going to help these kids learn. That's not changing your game means, look, I'm going to keep throwing the passes. I'm going to keep doing things that don't help them succeed. Right? Same thing that you've been complaining about that the Packers have done to you your entire career. Same exact thing. You keep saying that they don't give you the help that you need, that you wanted out. You didn't want to be in Green Bay. They don't do the things that you need them to do. They drafted a quarterback and you got all butthole hurt about it. They drafted defense in the first round. You got all butthurt about it, and you wanted out, and you didn't want to be there because they're not giving you the help that you need. Well, you're doing the same damn thing to these wide receivers. You're doing the same damn thing. You want to be successful, you've got to be successful as a team because you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? The best players help along the not so good players to become better.
The key word there,
And by
Combs,
just
is
saying,
help
you
them
know what, I'm
along.
going to keep letting you fail. I'm going to keep letting you fail. I'm going to keep letting you fail because I'm not going to change the way I do to help you succeed. You're not going to succeed as a team. And 7-10 might be a far cry. You might not even get to 7-10.
So let me ask you this. Why should I change my ways of a proven success that I know works that will get me to the NFC Championship game? Yes, I'm going to lose in the NFC Championship game, but gets us there 13-3, 13-4 year in and year out. Why should I change for a rookie receiver that can't catch the ball?
Because you don't have the same weapons you've had your entire career. All those things that you said you didn't have, you actually had. So now what the Packers said, all right, fine, we'll pay you. And now we're not going to give you the help that you say that you haven't had your entire time anyway. And now we're going to see how you do without that help. And without that help, you look pretty damn abysmal against the Minnesota Vikings, against a team without a trophy in their trophy case. You look pretty abysmal against. I don't know. Dummy is what her name is.
Dummy. All right. So speaking of dummies, Combs, we like to speak about dummies, and the Los Angeles Chargers are dummies. So are the Chiefs. The Chiefs have lost their kicker, Butker, and the Chargers have lost Keenan Allen for Thursday Night Football, Combs. Which one's the bigger loss for Thursday night?
Believe it or not, I'm going to go with Butker being the bigger loss here. I know it's a kicker versus a wide receiver, okay? But losing Keenan Allen, they won last week without him. He wasn't much of a factor in last week's game. Plus, they still have Mike Williams. They got this rookie wide receiver in Joshua Palmer. They've got Jalen Guyton on the squad as well. DeAndre Carter, who is a very good wide receiver. You're going to know that name quickly, especially now that Keenan Allen is out. But Mike Williams and Joshua Palmer just have to step up. And you still got Justin Herbert. You still got Austin Eckler. You've still got Sony Michel. This team's going to be just fine without him. Now, this might be a tight game, as well as the Chiefs played, even though, again, I'm still not high on the Chiefs. As well as they played against the Cardinals, this might be a tight game. And in that tight game, you're going to need a field goal. You're going to need a big field goal. And who's that going to come from? Are you going to bring in your punter? Is what's his name? Tommy Townsend?
No.
Are you going to bring in Tommy Townsend and try to kick the field goal?
Nope, you're going to bring in
Justin who's going to kick this field goal for you?
Safety Justin Reed. The same guy that kicked PATs for him last week, Combs. The same guy that kicked him 4 touchbacks when Butker got hurt.
Right, but if you need a 57-yard field goal to win the game, who's coming in?
Justin Reed. He kicked a 60-yarder in practice today.
Give me a break.
No,
Stop
it.
Stop it.
Keenan Allen.
So that you think that having a safety kick field goals, having a safety have to do a pressure in a pressure situation, kick a 53-yard field goal is worse than losing a wide receiver when you've got other wide receivers that are more than capable of carrying that load?
Right. Think about this. If you have a safety, a football player, kickers are football players too, right? But they're really not football players. They're freaking mental cases. Let's just be honest about it. If you actually have a football player kicking field goals, think about this. It might be a pressure situation. You might be down by 2. It might be 4th and 3, whatever, right? You can run that fire call all day long. Justin Reed in the open field with the ball versus a bunch of second-team special teamers. Give me Justin Reed all day long. You now have to plan for a totally different game plan in this game now, Combs, just because you have to worry about the going for 2 aspect. You have to worry about the fake field goal aspect even more. When you have a punter and a kicker holding and kicking the ball, you don't really worry about it too much. Yes, maybe once in a while Pat McAfee gets out in the open field and scampers for 25 yards, right? Once in a blue moon. Justin Reed can do that 9 out of 10 times and whoop that ass. Shit. Now, Keenan Allen is a very integral part of this Chargers offense. And I wish he would play because I have him on my fantasy team. But with that being said, really, Keenan Allen is the bigger loss because the Chargers are probably going to have to go point for point with the Kansas City Chiefs in Thursday night game, and having a receiver out like Keenan Allen is going to definitely hurt that moving forward. So They're fine.
Chargers by 2 scores.
Chargers by 2 scores at Arrowhead Stadium on Thursday Night Football.
Chargers by 2 scores.
So did you know, Combs?
You willing to put your facial hair on it?
Of course.
Chargers win by 2 scores. You've got to shave your face. I mean, shave your face.
But first of all, I don't think the Chargers will win by 2 scores.
If the Chargers win by less than 2 scores, that means by 7 points or less. If the Chargers win by 7 points or less, I'll shave my face.
Your little stubble that you have on your chin there, that's all gray.
I'm telling you right now, my wife will not like it.
Okay.
But I will do it.
Okay.
Right before the wedding, too. She's going to murder me.
The
but
first
that's how
Manscaped
sure I
shave
am
bet
this
of the
isn't
year
happening.
is online.
That's how sure I am that this is not happening.
Okay, so the first Manscaped shave bet of the year, promo code MANHOUR at manscaped.com. Save yourself 20% plus free shipping. Combsy says that Chargers will win by 2 scores. That is less
8 points or more.
Okay, 8 points or more. Let's just, I mean, it's got to be 9, right? Because 9 would be 2 scores. 8 is just 1 score.
No, 8 is 2 scores. You got to score twice on the.
You got to score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. That's 8 points.
No, conversion's the second score.
No, it's not. So does a PAT
All right,
count
fine.
as
9 points or more.
Come on,
I'm fine with 9 points or more.
Pump out that chest, Combsy. Don't
I
be
just
scared
said
now.
9 points or more. I ain't
right.
scared.
9 points or more.
9
The
points
Chargers
or more.
win. So I have 9 points plus the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, Vegas booked that. That's a 10-1 odds.
You've got 8 points plus the Kansas City Chiefs.
What if it's a tie?
You've got the Chiefs plus 8.
Yeah, well, like, let's say it is a tie. What happens if it's a tie? Well, like, I win if it's a tie because you have to say they're going to win by 9. So there you go.
Yeah, they have to win by 9 or more.
What if it's an 8-point game? Do I still win?
Yeah, you still win. If
Okay.
they win by 8 points or less, you win. If they win by 9 points or more, I win.
All right.
You're going to look silly as hell with a bald head and a bald face.
My hair's starting to grow back a little bit, but it is time to shave it again. Speaking of shaving, Mitchell Trubisky shaved up Cincinnati Bengals week 1, if you want to say that. But Mitchell Trubisky says the Steelers' offense needs more of a killer mentality. They scored 17 points off of the Bengals' 5 turnovers in week 1. Is he right, or do the Steelers need a quarterback change?
I think we're really close to seeing the beginning of the career for Kenny Pickett. We are one bad half away. Look, 5 turnovers, and you were only able to capitalize 17 points off of those 5 turnovers. It's not exactly a great day. And I know people are talking, oh, he looked good. He was making some crisp passes and this and that. He's 17 points. I've seen this story before, Buck. I've seen this story for 4 years. You get so many turnovers and you turn it into 3 points, right. 3 points, 3 points. No, you've got to do something more. And if you want to have that killer instinct, you want to see your offense have a lift, bring in Kenny Pickett. Because I don't think Mr. Trubisky is going to do it. I don't think Mr. Trubisky has it in him. I really don't. And I think if they don't have a good first half, say they're down after the first half, say they've only got 7 points and they're only winning 7-6 and they haven't moved the ball very much, I would not be surprised to see Kenny Pickett in the second half.
And see, I think that is what, I mean, I like Kenny Pickett. I like what he did in the preseason. Like, I thought he was going to be the future in Pittsburgh this season. But I think by starting Mitchell Trubisky, Combs, they said, Mitchell Trubisky, this is your team. Take leadership, make it into your own. On the flip side of that coin, we do have to realize the Cincinnati Bengals defense is pretty good. The Cincinnati Bengals defense held them to like 250 yards after giving up 5 turnovers. So that is nothing to bat an eye about. Now, I am kind of like being devil's advocate here, saying, hey, the Cincinnati Bengals defense is pretty good. But also on the other side of that coin as well, This is the first game that Mr. Trubisky has had as a week 1 starter in 2 seasons. This is the first time that he is in this new offense, and they were on the road. So he was kind of expected to struggle. Now, this week they are at home versus a New England Patriots team that we don't really know if they're good or bad, with the whole back spasm thing and like all that stuff. But the only way I see Kenny Pickett coming in this season is week 10 versus the Saints after the bye week. And, if they're struggling, if they're below 500 at that point going into the bye week, kind of like when the Miami Dolphins had Fitzpatrick and then Tua a couple years ago, they said after the bye week, Tua is going to be our guy no matter what, and the Miami Dolphins end up missing the playoffs. I think that's what the Steelers might have working in their favor too. There's like, hey, week 9 is our bye week, for 500, put Kenny Pickett in there. But before that, I definitely do not see him in there at all.
Yeah, I disagree. I see Kenny Pickett coming in as soon as they struggle. You're going to have a short hook with Mitch Trubisky. You have to have a short hook with Mitch Trubisky. For one, you're not married to Mitch Trubisky, right? You got him on a 2-year deal. You brought him in, and then you went out and you signed a rookie quarterback. You drafted a rookie quarterback, and this kid's looked really, really good. It's kind of the Andy Dalton situation all over again with Justin Fields, right? You got a short-term deal with a team. You come in, they drafted a kid that they really, really like, and that everybody wants to see play, and that everybody thinks could be that guy. It's going to be a short hook for you. And it's going to be an even shorter hook than it was for Andy Dalton, because at least Andy Dalton had proven that he could win in the league. Mitch Trubisky hadn't done that. And so I really do feel like you're not very far away from a Kenny Pickett sighting. You're not very far away from Kenny Pickett picking up the ball and taking this team. And I think that once he does, I think this team might actually take off. So I would not be surprised if maybe they do give them all of week 2, but if it struggles or if they lose or if they don't score very much, I would not be surprised to see Kenny Pickett by week 3. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the second half of this game.
So
that's me.
If you are playing that card, week 3 is probably out for Kenny Pickett 100% because it's a short work week and they're on the road versus Cleveland on Thursday night. If they want him in there, that 10-day stretch between Cleveland and New York Jets game, that'd be a time when you get him in kind of like an extra bye week in there. But this is the same Mitchell Trubisky Combs that led the Chicago Bears to the playoffs twice in 4 years. That has a playoff win.
That rode a defense twice to the playoffs in 4 years.
And don't the Pittsburgh Steelers have a pretty good defense?
They do. Yeah. They do.
They did.
But
right?
you're playing in a much tougher division than you were in the NFC North. You only have one team to contend with at the time in the NFC North. You've got 4 you've got to contend with, or 3 other teams that you got to contend with in the AFC North. It's a much different division. I'm just telling you, and not only that, but again, you've got a head coach who's never had a losing season.
Right.
And I don't think he's about to try to give that up right now. So I really do think that's a short leash for Mr. Trubisky. He's either got to pick it up or pack it up.
Yeah, especially after buying those black Air Force Ones. Those were fire.
Yeah, those were nice.
No, they weren't. They were butt-ass ugly. Those are the ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my entire life. What is people's fascination with Air Forces?
They kind of look like the ones you buy if you're working at McDonald's that are slip resistant, right?
Yeah, they were so ugly. So ugly. So on Tuesday, Combs, we spoke a little bit about the whole Monday night fiasco with Nathaniel Hackett, but he has come out and says that he should have definitely gone for it the day after he took the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands and went for that 63-yard field goal with 50-plus seconds left on the clock, 4th and 5 with a timeout. Do you think he is just doing this to save face for his job, or is this an actual strength of him to admit that he is wrong?
So it's kind of like a catch-22 here, right? Like I admire transparency within organizations. I admire when an organization or a GM comes out and says, hey, this is what we're doing, and then they go out and do it, right? Like, there were parts of me that when the Bears drafted Mitchell Trubisky, even though I didn't like the pick because you left Deshaun Watson on the board, and we have plenty of massage therapists in Chicago, and you left with Deshaun Watson on the board, and you picked this guy up, I at least admired the fact that you had the conviction to go and get that guy, right? So I admire transparency. I admire somebody having the balls to say, hey, this is my guy, and I'm getting him no matter what. But in this situation, the transparency causes me to question you the next time that a tough decision needs to be made. It causes me to say, well, are you really sure about this? Like, is this really the decision you're going to make? Because you just told me you're not even sure if you made the right decision. You're questioning your own decision making the day after doing it. Oh, you're like, you know what? Yeah, everybody else was right. I was wrong. Okay, well, you know what? Then I don't want you making decisions for my damn football team anymore. Like, I'm happy. He was one of the guys that was up for the Bears gig. I'm glad they didn't hire this guy. This guy doesn't even know what he wants to do. I've been back and forth. Like, I don't know whether or not this was the right decision. I think that I would have made the same decision. I said that on Tuesday's show. I would have made the same decision. I'm pretty sure that's what I would have done. But I do know that no matter what decision I made, I would stand by it. I do know that whatever decision I made, I would tell you, you know what, look, this is the decision I made. You know, it reminds me a lot of Tony La Russa here in Chicago with the walking guys when they have a 1 and 2 count against them. You put up the 4 fingers for an intentional walk. Like, you know it's a stupid call. We know it's a stupid call. But at least Tony La Russa had the balls to go into the press conference and say, no, I don't even know why you're questioning that call. It's absolutely the right call, even when it's not. And that's what Nathaniel Hackett should have done. He should have went in there and said, look, this is absolutely the right call. I don't even know why you guys are questioning it. Like, you have to have conviction as a head coach. And when you don't have a conviction as a head coach, it questions your authority.
Right. It only does that. I mean, everything that you said, and then the players start second guessing you, right? Like, is this guy really the guy for the job? So what
you're a coach, like if you told one of your players, hey, after the game you sat down with them, it's like, I don't know, do you think that was the right call? You know what I mean? They're probably going to look at you a little bit sideways, and they're probably going to say, hey, Coach Buck, do you stutter when you think? Like, that's the type of stuff that you're going to get. But that you can't do that. You can't set that precedent, because then once your players start questioning you, especially in the NFL, you're in trouble. So you lose that locker room quick.
So let me answer the question that you proposed there. So as a coach, I know my players well enough that I can talk to 1 or 2 players and say, hey, what do you think you would have done in this situation? I mean, like, I'm not in front of fans and parents and saying, hey, I made a mistake. We should have done this, and this, right? And no, like, I am behind closed doors asking players, just because, you know, when I feel when, like, players are a part of the decision making, then they are more invested into what we're doing, right? I mean, that's on a high school level, obviously not like a NFL level by any means. But why I think Nathaniel Hackett came out and said this is because of everything what we said on Tuesday, Combs. We said Sean Payton's out there waiting to get hired. There are people out there waiting to get hired. Dude, did you know that the fastest firing in NFL history was from the LA Chargers, and a guy got fired 2 preseason games in? Nathaniel Hackett could have been the second fastest coach of being fired after 1 game of the NFL season if he wouldn't have come out and said this, because the writing was on the wall. He made a mistake. You can agree with it all you want, Combs, but you are paying Russell Wilson to cook $245 million over the next 5 years, and you can't get 5 yards. I mean, I get it, but what Nathaniel Hackett should have said, he said the result wasn't what we expected. I expected the kicker to make the field goal because he's been hitting 65, 60, 66 yarders all week in practice. That is what he should have done. He should have said that he was wrong and gone for it or whatever, right? He should have said everything that you said. I stand behind what I did. My kicker was making these kicks all week in practice. I had faith in him, and he did it. He almost threw his kicker under the bus too by saying that he made a mistake. And kickers are head cases. Look at the Blankenship guy that just got cut. He kicked 2 balls out of bounds and missed a PAT because he's worried about gaming. Like,
he's a stud.
He was. Now he's at home playing COD.
Yeah, he'll get picked up somewhere. I mean, he'll be kicking for the Jaguars or something soon. But guys, like, it drives me nuts when a coach is like, oh, yeah, I don't know, maybe that was the right call. Maybe it was. No, stick to your guns. You said it. Just let it ride. Yeah. Have your guys. That's the only way guys are going to respect you is if you stick by your call. When you stop sticking by your call, everybody's going to question you every step of the way right now because you questioned yourself.
Well, let me pull your phase out, and that's a catch-22. If you know you made a mistake, and you come out and say, "Hey, I messed up," and like instead of sticking to the wrong answer, do you respect the guy more for coming out and saying, "Hey, I made a mistake," or by sticking by your answer?
In most cases, yes, but in this case, no. And what you do is the next time that situation comes up, you go with it the other way. If you really feel like you made a mistake, you make that call the next time you're in this situation, as opposed to coming out and saying, you know what, I made a mistake. And then in the next situation, when they say, well, what was different this time from that time? You say, I had a different feeling this time. I felt like we could make it on this for whatever reason the case is.
Okay.
But you just can't, because look, perception is reality, right? And the perception you give off when you question yourself is that you don't even trust yourself. So how can I trust you?
Yeah, I feel like you're about to get married and you've been talking to a preacher man. So that is some wise words.
I'm a very insightful guy, Buck.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Speaking of very insightful guy, the Dallas Cowboys said their theme for this season is relentlessness. Resiliency. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And now Dak is out 6 to 8 weeks, Combs. How much trouble are the Cowboys in? I did it on purpose. I knew what the word was. Jeez.
That wasn't even your stutter. That was just you not being able to read.
I do that stuff all the time on purpose just so people think I'm dumb, and I'm not dumb. I'm really smart. Come on.
Oh God. All right. So resilience was their theme. And look, they're about to find out. I started off this show by talking, hey, what are you guys doing? You want Cam Newton or the other jackass to come over here, Colin Kaepernick, and be your quarterback. But you're about to find out whether or not you are resilient, whether or not your theme is going to come to pass. And I know that this wasn't what you expected when you said, hey, this is our theme of the season. But you're about to find out. How far can Cooper Rush take you? And then you're also about to find out is what percentage of Dak Prescott is better than Cooper Rush. What percentage of Dak Prescott, a healthy Dak Prescott, is a 50% Dak Prescott better than Cooper Rush, 75%? Or are you giving him the full amount of time to come back and be 100% before you kick it back to him and let Cooper Rush take over? I've seen all sorts of crazy things. Not only the Kaepernick and the Cam Newton thing, I saw some other thing too where the guy came out and tweeted out, oh yeah, 20 years ago, Tom Brady took over for Drew Bledsoe, and we're about to get the same thing here out of Cooper Rush. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. But you just need good enough play. You need good enough. You need to hope that Cooper Rush knows the system good enough. You got to hope that Cooper Rush can limit the turnovers good enough until you can get Dak Prescott back. And that's just that's resilience. That's resiliency right there. If you can bounce back, if you can at least stay 500 or a game above 500 until he comes back, you might be in good shape.
Yeah, so right when I saw that Tom Brady 2.0 thing, I thought that was freaking hysterical because we've seen Cooper Rush on the Cowboys 3 different times and been cut 4 different times and has been cut by the New York Giants. This is the first time we saw Tom Brady on the field, so it's 2 totally different things. So that just needs a nip in the butt real quick. But when we look at the Dallas Cowboys roster right now, Combs, they have one healthy quarterback, Cooper Rush. So I got to thinking here, let's look at some top 10 free agent quarterbacks that are out there. Trevor Siemian, free agent quarterback. He played for the Saints a couple years, and I think he got cut by the Browns or the Bears this offseason. Ryan Fitzpatrick, free agent. Colt McCoy, free agent. Andy Dalton used to play for the Cowboys, free agent. Jacoby Brissett is not a free agent now. And then they have, where's number 1 there? Number 1. It doesn't matter. Because what the Cowboys need to do, if they really want this R-word season, they need to go out and get Jimmy G. They need to go out and get Jimmy G, put Dak on the IR. We talked about it Tuesday, Combs, and I'm going to stick with it. Or how about this?
It's a bad idea, bro.
How about this? Taysom Hill from the Saints.
No, stop. God, no. The only way you go out and get Jimmy G is if you plan on flipping him at the trade deadline, or if you plan on trading Dak at the trade deadline. Because those two cannot coexist on the same roster.
Win-win either way. Or how about this?
You're going to get fleeced on that deal, though, right? You're going to get fleeced on that deal because the Niners know how bad you need a quarterback right now.
We have Cooper Rush still.
Then, come the trade deadline, everybody's going to know that you need to get rid of him. So you're going to get fleeced on a deal. You're going to pay too much, and you're not going to get enough in return. I don't know that this is a good idea. I don't like the idea. I wouldn't do it, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it comes to fruition.
Yeah. So if we're really looking for a resilient season, like you kind of have to go out and make a splash, right? Like you have to get a quarterback that's worth it, Dan, because do you legit think Cooper Rush can take them to a 500 record for the next 7 to 8 weeks? Like, I haven't looked at their schedule personally, but I do know they play the Bengals this coming week on Sunday. As I pull these guys up here, like I know we're getting ready to do the game picks here, but I don't think they can beat the Bengals. And then I'm sure they have some division opponents.
They got the Giants and the Commanders and the Rams and the Eagles and the Lions. How long is he supposed to be out? 6 weeks?
6 to 8 weeks and possibly 9.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Probably
8.
till Thanksgiving.
All right, so you've got the Bengals, Giants, Commanders, Rams, Eagles, Lions, Bears, Packers. You could not survive that with Cooper Rush as your quarterback.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry. In those 9 games, I see you as a 2-7 or 3-6 team.
Even with Dak, the way they played Sunday, that's still only probably 4 wins. I mean, shit. I mean,
I think you kind of give credit to the Buccaneers being really, really good. I mean, we expect the Buccaneers to be a top 3 team in the NFC, if not the top team in the NFC. So you can kind of chalk that up to you played a really tough opponent and you got your butts beat. And so what you're saying is you're a good NFC team, but you're not a top 3 NFC team yet. But you can get there by the end of the season. But without Cooper Rush, you're not even a bottom 5 NFC team. You're a bottom 2 NFC team.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really worried about the Dallas Cowboys right now. But
I would be too.
Only time will tell. So it is that special time of night, Combs. Thursday edition. Thursday night football getting ready to start here. Chiefs versus Chargers. Let's start right there. Who do you got in that game?
I'm going with Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to walk in the Arrowhead. I think the Chargers are going to win by 9 points. And I think you're going to come on here looking really silly with no hair on your face next week.
And I think you're going to look really silly with that little bit of gray patch gone. Kansas City Chiefs in this game. Now let's get to Sunday
It's
matchups.
resilient, Buck. Can you say that word? Resilient?
It's resilient. I am resilient of trying to go back to orange. Jets versus Browns. Who you got?
I'm going with the Browns. I like the Browns at home against the Jets. To me, the Jets are still trying to figure it all out. Robert Saleh, I like Robert Saleh a lot, but he's got some work to do.
Yeah, the Browns showed a lot against me versus the Panthers, and they're here to stay. Give me the Browns in this one. Commanders at the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to go with the Commanders. It's going to be a tight one. Detroit only knows how to lose games 38-35. They score a lot of points, but they give up a lot of points. So I'm going to go with the Commanders in this one.
Yeah, and exactly what you said. The Lions do score a lot of points, and the Commanders do not score a lot of points. Give me the Lions in this one. Bucks at Saints.
I'm going to go with the Saints. The Saints own the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers just can't beat the Saints, even with Tom Brady at the helm. The Saints have still owned the Buccaneers. It's in New Orleans. It's the Saints home opener. Who dat? High off of that comeback victory over the Atlanta Falcons. Give me the Saints.
Yeah, give me the Saints as well. I believe the Saints have swept the Bucs the last 3 seasons in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. Panthers at the Giants.
Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go Giants here, though. I think you're going to start seeing people panic in Carolina. I do like Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield got a raw deal in Cleveland, but that team's just not very good. The Giants are going to start the season 2-0, and everybody's going to think, man, what the hell? Maybe the Giants have a chance, and they're going to finish the season 2-14.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that as well. The Carolina Panthers are still kind of licking the wounds from last week, game of the Giants. Pats at Steelers.
I am going to go with the Patriots here. I think the Patriots walk into Pittsburgh, and I think this is Mitch Trubisky's last hurrah as a starting quarterback in the league. So give me the Patriots here.
Yeah, Patriots are pissed off, but they still start the season off 0-2. Steelers win this game. Colts at Jaguars.
Give me the Colts here. Colts want revenge after losing not only week 1, but also the final week of the season to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And so give me the Colts here, angry in Jacksonville. Big win here for the Colts.
Yeah, I mean, a tie and a loss your last 2 games. But give me the Jaguars. I like the Jaguars at home, and Travis Etienne's kind of have a breakout game. Dolphins at the Ravens.
I'm going to take the Ravens here. The Dolphins, I'm not a big believer in Tua. It's in Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson's going to do his thing. He's putting all the contract talk behind him, as he says he is, and I think he's going to rush for 100, throw for a couple hundred, and the Baltimore Ravens going to have a big day.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. I like their defense. They're probably the best defense in the NFL. They're a very, very stingy defense. Falcons at the Rams.
Falcons are up 57-0 entering the fourth quarter, and they lose 58-57. No, I'm joking. I'm going to take the Rams here. This game's not even going to be close. The Falcons are not good. The Rams are pissed off after getting their butts whooped at home by the Buffalo Bills in week 1. They are going to trounce the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't think they're going to trounce them, but it is going to be a pretty lopsided game on the scoreboards, but it's going to be closer than we think. But the Rams win. Seahawks travel to 49ers.
Man, so instantly you kind of want to take the San Francisco 49ers here, right? Coming off that loss to the Chicago Bears. Seattle coming high off that win against Denver. Geno Smith looked really good. But San Francisco was blaming it on the rain. All their fans said it was raining. They're playing in a monsoon. Well, guess what? It's supposed to rain on Sunday in San Francisco. And if you can't play in the rain, you're not going to be very good. Give me the Seattle Seahawks in the upset over the San Francisco. They started 0-2.
I think Geno Smith comes back down to reality, like Tori said on the Fantasy Football Show. Give me the 49ers. I think Trey Lance still plays bad, but somehow the 49ers pull it out. Bengals at Dallas.
I'm going to go with the Bengals. Bengals get back on track here. Dallas is lost without Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush is not very good. I'm going to take the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals as well. Everything that you just said. Texans at Broncos.
I'm going to take the Texans here. I think the Texans are riding high. They tied the Colts. They're feeling better than they are. Davis Mills is a better quarterback than people give him credit for. And the Denver Broncos made a bad trade in getting Russell Wilson. It's going to be a close one, but they're going to try to kick another 63-yard field goal, and they're going to lose. Give me the Houston Texans.
That 63-yard field goal in Mile High would be good, though. But give me the Texans as well. I like Davis Mills, and I think they're going to run the heck out of the ball. That running game, that they had the three-headed monster that they're running back there, I like it a lot. Arizona Cardinals at the Raiders.
Give me the Raiders. I was wrong about the Arizona Cardinals. I'll admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong about the Cardinals. I did not like the way that they looked in Week 1. I do not think that they are as good as I thought that they were. I don't think they are as good as they started out the first 11 weeks of last season. The Raiders are very good. They want to rebound and show that, yeah, they lost last week to the Chargers, but they lost to another really good team in the AFC West. So give me the Raiders here.
So when you say it, you are just, complimenting it. But when I say it, I'm completely wrong. But the Arizona Cardinals cracks have been showing for a while now. But I do like the Raiders. I think they do well. I think Devontae Adams balls out again. Josh Jacobs probably runs the ball as well. This week, give him the ball. Raiders win by 20 points. I think it's kind of a blowout. Sunday night flood football. Your Chicago Bears travel to Lambeau, take on the Packers.
Yeah, they get to travel and see the owner of the Chicago Bears, which is Aaron Rodgers. He owns this team, and Aaron Rodgers plays well against the Bears. He has his entire career. But that stops this damn week, baby. Justin Fields takes us into Lambeau. Justin Fields scores more points than the Green Bay Packers. He outplays Aaron Rodgers. He pisses off Aaron Rodgers to the fact that Aaron Rodgers has to go do some shrooms in the locker room and probably quits. Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears, by 2 scores.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow. Packers win 17-10. Monday Night Football game number 1. Tennessee Titans travel to Buffalo, 7:15 kickoff. What do you got?
Buffalo Bills. So Tennessee did not look very good week 1. Buffalo is amazing. Buffalo is a juggernaut. I don't know who's going to stop this team. They might go 17-0, win the Super Bowl. This team is so damn good. It's the best team I've seen in a very long time. Give me the Buffalo Bills at home.
Yeah, the only way the Titans have a chance at this game is if King Henry rushes for 200 yards, and the Buffalo Bills defense is not going to let that happen. Buffalo Bills win at least 28-7. It's going to be kind of lopsided. Vikings versus Eagles, final Monday night game and final game of week 2. Who do you got?
2 really good teams. 2 teams that are expected to compete for their divisions. 2 teams that are expected to make some noise in the NFC playoffs. It's going to be a good game. I'm excited to see it, but I think Minnesota's better than Philadelphia. I think Minnesota is out to prove a point, and I think they made a statement against the Green Bay Packers in week 1, and I think that's going to continue this week in Philadelphia. You're going to hear some boos from the Philadelphia fans. Minnesota, give me Minnesota all day.
This has kind of been a toss-up to me, Combs, all week. But I feel the Vikings are going to have a little bit of a letdown. Primetime Kurt is not a primetime player. It is a Monday night game. Give me the Eagles at Philadelphia. Low-scoring game.
I didn't take that into account. I forgot all about that. Primetime game, primetime Kurt. No, I'm still going with the Vikings.
Still going with the Vikings. All right, guys. So I'm taking the Eagles. Why are we doing 2 Monday night games in week 2? Isn't that normally a week 1 thing?
Yeah, it's usually a week 1 thing, and then it's usually an East Coast and a West Coast game, so that one starts at 6 and the other one starts at 9. And this time one starts at 6 and the other one starts at 7:30. I don't know what the hell's going on. ESPN just trying to do some things, I guess.
Trying to make that money.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
I think one of the games is going to be on ESPN Plus, right? Maybe that's the deal.
One's
maybe
on ESPN and one's on ABC. So you can watch on ESPN Plus if you want, but they're all correlated in that ESPN American Broadcasting Company.
I don't know what the point is then. I really don't.
I don't know.
Stupid.
Closing thoughts.
Man Hour Nation.